All right, Asian Paints is going to be definitely a stock on our radar on the back of weak numbers. Abneesh Roy joins in to talk about that. Abneesh, the numbers were weak, multi-quarter low, EBITDA down 20%. Is this something that you were expecting or has it come as a shock? And what do investors do at this point in time?
So yes, slightly weaker than expected, but largely the contours were likely to be weak. So if you see Asian Paints business and the other paint companies and possibly Pidilite also, you will see the weak numbers in Q1. If I see the volume growth and sales growth, that was almost in line with our expectation, but lower than consensus. So volume was around 2% below our numbers and sales was 1% below our numbers. So not much of a problem there. But in Asian Paints kind of business, what happens is there is a very high fixed cost structure. So the advertising spend and the staff cost, for example, those are going to be always inflationary. Company is adding a lot of capability in terms of distribution. That's why staff cost was up around 24% YOY. But that will help them in terms of fighting the competition and ramping up in terms of the market share. So I would say that slight downtick in the Asian Paint stock in the near term is possible. But that should be seen as a buying opportunity because of 3-4 reasons. One is one more round of price hike is likely in the near term. Company already said that they are looking to take that. Second is the margins in the coming quarters are more favorable from a base effect basis. In Q1, the margins were very high in the base quarter, around 23% plus. Now we go into more favorable numbers in the coming quarters, plus the 1% hike already which has been taken, plus one more hike will come. That should help them coming back to 20% plus kind of margins in the coming quarters. In this quarter also, Q1, if you see, industrial business did reasonably well with 6% growth. Home decor, bath and...
Yes. Sorry, Abneesh, good morning. Good to have you. Good to speak with you. Now, just 2 points. One, what kind of damage are we likely to see? A 5-6% kind of a reaction on the back of these earnings possible? And you're saying that would be a buying opportunity then? And also, if you can tell us, what has been the earnings EPS CAGR for Asian Paints over the last couple of, say the last 6 quarters?
So two things, 2 parts of the question. One is if I see near term, there could be lower than the number which you mentioned, because if you see rest of the consumption packs are all near all-time high. And when results of Pidilite and other paint companies come, you will see the same impact of the heat wave and election. So this is a Q1 specific factors which have impacted. It is not structurally changing the company for sure. Second, of course, is in terms of numbers. Yes, we have just cut our sales number by around 1.5%. But in terms of margins, clearly the price hike which the company took, that is a positive. And one more round of hike will come. In terms of CAGR, if you see, the volume CAGR has been very strong. What had happened, the commodity cost, if you see 2 years back, had gone up sharply and then they came down also sharply. Whenever that happens, you will see this issue of the EPS CAGR being on the lower side. HUL results come out next week. You'll see exactly same thing, negative pricing being passed on to the end consumer because of the high gross margin. That is not a reflection of the strength of the business. This is a one-off thing, high inflation followed by the high deflation. So I will say that the company will come back to the, Asian Paints will come back to the double-digit volume growth in the coming quarters, and you will see the margin recovery also happening. So this is a thing which impacted many consumer companies. So that's why the EPS CAGR is on the lower side.
Got it. Abneesh, we have to take a break, but please stay there, stay with us. We're going to come back to you on more on Asian Paints and other FMCG names as well. Let's take a quick break. We're back on the other side.
Let's focus on Asian Paints itself. Abneesh of Nuvama was in conversation with us. Abneesh, so you believe that the decline in Asian Paints could be a bit of a buying opportunity. What's your view on the other paint names? Grasim has been a big outperformer because the street believes it's going to be a solid competitor. And what's the preference from the paint itself? Because there is a note that's come out earlier today. They believe that you should be negative on all the current players. That's Berger, Asian Paints, etc. Your pecking order.
So in the paints will be positive on Asian Paints, and that's why we have a buy on Asian Paints and a hold on Berger. So I think that pecking order will continue in the near term. What we are seeing is definitely whatever Birla Opus has done, nothing very disruptive. If you see in terms of 1 year extra warranty, free tinting machine, or the 10% extra grammage, that every new entrant does that. So Birla Opus also, if you see the guidance is more of a FY28. So I think they want to get market share through the rational way rather than being disruptive, because in this industry, distribution and brand is the main factor for getting the business. So I would say now Birla Opus launch has happened. One round of price hike has already been taken by the industry. Second round of pricing will also happen. So we see that Q1 results will be the bottom for Asian Berger from a margins and a growth perspective, because you had all those one-off factors of heat wave and elections, which will not recur obviously in the coming quarters. So yes, I will say that this is a buying opportunity, but we'll prefer Asian Paints in the paints category, and we like obviously Pidilite in the adhesive and the broader waterproofing. So these will be our top bets.
Okay, Pidilite and which one you said?
Pidilite and Asian Paints will be our top bets.
Okay. On Pidilite particularly, what is the risk reward looking like now? Sitting at about 3,200. What kind of growth are you looking at there? What kind of earnings estimates do you have?
Well, in fact, we released a very detailed note on that. So definitely company is targeting new growth drivers. For example, in terms of EV and the phone manufacturing, India is going to be a very strong manufacturing base. Currently, Pidilite gets very negligible business from there. So we expect that these two verticals itself can add a lot of revenue to Pidilite from an adhesive usage in the coming years. Base business, if you see anyway, they are seeing very strong double-digit volume growth consistently. And waterproofing, Asian Paint has done well. But I think Pidilite is more in the B2B part, and definitely they are gaining a lot of market share in the tile adhesive. So I'll be positive on Pidilite. Of course, in Q1 also, you will see the same issue which impacted Asian Paint. It will impact even Pidilite. The availability of carpenters, painters was impacted. Definitely B2B business gets impacted because of the model code of conduct. So that could be, again, a buying opportunity. Stock has done really well. Pidilite stock has done well. But it's a compounding story. Just like DMart, if you see the results were good, the stock has also done well. Pidilite is also a very strong compounding machine for us from a next 3 years, 5 years perspective also.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Abneesh, for that, and have a great day. That's the word coming in on Asian Paints and on Pidilite.